Hello, hi, how are you doing today? Molweni, sanibonani, Damela, Abushini. Welcome or welcome back to African Xhosa ASMR. In today's video, I wanted to try something different and I wanted to share with you guys words that South Africans use that the rest of the world is shocked by. So that's exactly what today's video is all about. Not necessarily ASMR, it's just a soft spoken video where I just jibber jabber about any and everything. But if you find it relaxing, that's a bonus for me. So yeah, cool. Without further ado, let's get started. So I will be reading this by South African briefly, and it is titled Xhosa Words That Would Shock Americans. US gent tries speaking Xhosa. I am currently not at home, by the way, hence the sounds. It's either the sounds or I don't post anything, and the algorithm doesn't like people who don't post, so we have to, deal with the cards we've been dealt, The story is by Nerissa Naidu, and it says an American living in South Africa posted a TikTok video where he made several Xhosa click sounds and expressions that would surprise people from the US. The content creator showed off Xhosa words for motivations like anger, shock, and amazement that rely heavily on unique sounds rather than traditional words. South Africans in the comment section praised his efforts to learn the language, with many finding his pronunciations and demonstration both accurate and hilarious. An American man living in South Africa has delighted locals with his attempt at mastering common Xhosa expressions. The video was shared by the content creator, who frequently posts about his experience as a US citizen who is living in South Africa. In the video posted on the 22nd of March 2025 from his home near Cape Town, the American begins by pointing to his caption, Xhosa words that would shock Americans. He then proceeds to demonstrate various Xhosa sounds and expressions that aren't typical words, but rather sounds that convey specific meanings. These include famous Xhosa click sounds like, I'm not going to say this, these are swear words basically. These are swear words. And then the second one is haibo, which is used to express amazement. And another swear word, which would, in my opinion, translate to F off. And the person who wrote the article says it means get out of here. And then he repeated yo. Sometimes you say yo to express shock. Yo. That's how you would say it. He also demonstrated suka. That's not how we play suka. Suka, which means get away, like get out of here. And then hey, which is what in the hey. And then Highway to. Highway to is like highway to. I don't know how to explain it. And then hey to, and then we also have hey to, which means like look here. Hey to does not mean look here. Hey to means like hey you, and so on and so forth. What makes Xhosa unique? Xhosa, known as isiXhosa by its speakers, is one of South Africa's, it says 11, but 12 official languages. It belongs to the Nguni language family alongside isiZulu, Ndebele, and Swati. Over 8 million people speak Xhosa as their first language, with an additional 11 million speaking it as a second language. One of the most distinctive features of isiXhosa is its click consonants. These clicks might sound similar to the or toot toot sound that English speakers use to show annoyance. Some clicks in Xhosa are made by placing the tongue on the mouth or the upper palate, or pulling air in. Xhosa also features tones low and high in both long and short versions of familiar vowels a, e, o, and u. The language is widely spoken in South Africa, Eastern Cape, Western Cape, Gauteng, and Northern Cape areas, making it the most widely distributed African language in the country. Okay. That's pretty much it on this article. Now let's watch a video from this TikToker and then take it from there. There is this video where he shows different items, starting with the following. What would you call the following? Americans call it French fries, but South Africans call it potato chips. And Americans call this a bathroom, but us South Africans call it toilet. American call this a chicken fillet, and South African call it a chicken fillet. Not fillet, fillet. Yeah. And then Americans call this a diaper, but South Africans call it pampers. All kinds of diapers are just pampers to us, just like all fizzy drinks are Coke and all toothpaste is Colgate, which is a bit funny. Sometimes we call it a nappy if we don't want to call it pampers, obviously, but most people call it pampers or a nappy. And then American call this a trash can, and South Africans call it a bin, a dustbin. And then Americans call this sneakers. Us South Africans call it tackies. We call it tackies. And then Americans call this cotton candy, and we don't call it cotton candy, we call it candy floss. Candy floss. Americans call it a bathing suit, but we call it a swimming costume. It's a swimming costume. It's a costume that you wear when you're going swimming, wearing a swimming costume. Why not? And then Americans call this a zebra, but we call it a zebra. Zebra, not zebra. Zebra. And then American call this YouTube. And then we call it YouTube. YouTube. Yeah. And then Americans call this a pharmacy, but we call it a chemist. Ndiye chemist, meaning you're going to a pharmacy. And then after that, what do we have? A lot of words basically. South Africans call this a braai. We call it a braai, but Americans call it a barbecue. A barbecue. And after that, we have this. South Africans call this robots. Robots. And Americans call it traffic lights. Traffic lights. Traffic lights. I believe so. But we call it robots. After robot. Misele. A robot, like we call them robots. And then Americans call this a gas station, but we call it garage. 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 So yeah, those are a couple of words that are somewhat different and, from what Americans use for their words as well. If you are also from a different country, different continent, and you use different words from what South Africans use and what Americans use, also just drop it in the comment section and tell me what words do you use in your country and for what exactly. That would be such an interesting thing to do. So that's pretty much it for today's video. It's not going to be long. It's very short, simple, and sweet. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it. But before I go, obviously we're going to do word of the day. And word of the day today is going to be a quote. A beautiful, beautiful quote. Let's try to find it. Side siyibone zininzi into ezilapha efowunini yam ke sam and andiyithathe kudala laa quote. Andisayikhumbuli noba ndayenza kanjani. Ndayilike okanye zange ndiyilike, uma ndingqore kwi-likes zam ukuze ndiyibone ngoba andisayikhumbuli noba yayindawoni. Yayindawoni kabele. Oh Thixo. Mandiye ku-liked ndiyoyijonga. Masithembe uba ndayilike. Masithembe ukuba ndayilike ngoba ndiyilayikanga ndazi uba ndizawuthini. Ndizawuthini ke ngoku? Masikhawuleze siyijonge uba indawoni zandiyilike. Masikhangele. Okay, masikhangele. Okay. Today's word of the day is going to be in the book of Isaiah chapter 20 verse 29. I was trying to look for a quote, but I couldn't find it. But you know what? We're going to do Isaiah chapter 20 verse 29. And it says, He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. So whenever you're feeling weak, say that you are strong. Whenever you're feeling powerless, say you got this. You have the power. The Lord has given you strength. He has given you power. I hope that these words of encouragement carry you to the rest of the week. Thank you very much for watching today's video. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye in Vietnam.